What is up, guys? It is your boy Smurfy here with the video for the Comic Book Kings YouTube channel. Just wanted to do a quick video this morning because it's kind of late, but OTAs have started and I wanted to do a Saints depth chart video. I'll do a more in-depth projection video on their season later, but just wanted to talk about the roster and who to watch out for this season, especially in training camp. I think one person to watch out for, not for any reason specifically of him like being like a good player for us or anything like that, which I think will be solid, is Brandin Cooks. He's played in Kellen Moore's system, so he'll be I think a big piece as far as getting that install going for the receivers and potentially a lot of the offensive positions. So he'll be helping a lot with that. So that's something I wanted to point out and shout him out for. Another one is going to be I should say the tight end room in general, because if you look here, tight end room, this isn't an official depth chart, of course, but this is the estimated one from our labs. You know, pretty goated. But you see like Foster, Taysom are coming off injuries. Taysom more so worse than Foster. So with that being said, the only next one is that tight end we got out of UCLA. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the first name, but I think in last name is pronounced Matavo. But as you can see, I do worry about the depth there and who we have at tight end currently, especially with the retirement of Don Holker retired, and stuff like Michael Jacobson, but he wasn't like a big piece for us last year either. But you know, he still makes plays on occasion for some reason on my timeline. No matter what, like during training or preseason. Seth Green, I have no expectations for, to be honest. So, and then Jack Stoll, and they have Mike Dixon right there. I don't know why I didn't see that, but Jack Stoll is also interesting. But again, a little worried about the depth going into training camp for it. But Foster will be healthy, I think, soon, ready to go. He might already be, to be honest, but I'm not too sure on that one. But still, depth is kind of concerning there, especially with the injuries and lack of top end talent, especially with how Juwan was kind of beat up last year. So. Quarterback will be interesting between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough. Haener, I think, is probably going to get traded or cut. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I think they'll go with Hunter Decker, the younger guy. I don't think there's a huge drop off between the two. I mean, we'll see if that's going to be the case, but I'm pretty much sure that's what's going to be the case. Our offensive line looks pretty good. I like the piece they added with Dylan Radins. That's some solid depth for us with Clapp and Landon Young. I think will be our three best depth linemen. Hopefully, like Landon was also kind of ass last year, but he's been good years prior to that, so I'm not sure what'll happen there. Nick Saldre might be cut, to be honest. He's booty. Josiah, I'm interested in see if he can kind of take another step. Kyle Hergill was also nice for us for a little bit when needed. So I do like the state of the offensive line, which depends on how the starters are playing this year. Kind of will determine it. It's the combination of Penning, Kelvin, and Talifuaga. It's that combination that will kind of determine how the offensive line plays. Because we know Eric McCoy saw it already. Ruiz is pretty much he's been the same player every season. He's not like top end, but he's definitely a solid guard, and he's been consistent for the most part each season. So that'll be interesting. So that's something to look into. I don't think Amon's gonna be pushed out. The only one I could see potentially losing the job would be Penning to Dylan. So that'll be an interesting camp battle potentially, I guess. But I still imagine they'll still start Trevor over Dylan. You look at the quarterback room. You got Tyler Shough, you got Spencer Rattler. For that, between them, it's gonna be they're gonna be trading between the three, between Haener, Spencer, and Tyler. For the William running with the ones, Spencer ran with the ones yesterday. Looked really good. They had, I can't remember if they had Shough running with the twos. I think it was with the twos and Haener's with the threes. I did see the reports. I didn't get to see any flips, but I saw reports that Shough struggled, which it checks out for a rookie that's swinging for a set of 11s in the NFL. So to be expected, but for somebody that they're wanting to be a starter potentially sooner rather than later, it will depend on how he pans out. But he runs with the ones today, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see the reports say on that one. Same with, I think they'll make the determination for the quarterback until I think after the first preseason game or two. Because I think they're going to play honestly like Spencer Rattler and Shuck 50-50 to see, and that'll be I think where they're going to make their decision. If it's close after the first game, probably the second game. Because I don't know. Well, I guess in training camp, I mean, if Shuck for some reason or Spencer just blows them out of the water by the end of the month, maybe they would make that determination. But I imagine they're going to want to see some live gameplay before they make that decision. Running back, I think I'm liking the depth between Alvin Kamara, obviously solid, and I like the veteran from Clyde being there, and Cam Akers. The question marks will be Devin Neal, Kendrick Miller, and Velus Jones. Marcus Jones will be like just a nice little depth. I think he'll be on the practice squad. I think this year. Same with Velus Jones is interesting. He's a guy that hasn't really panned out receiver. I liked him actually coming out of college. He looked great at Shrine Bowl, but it hasn't translated, to be honest. It's unfortunate, but he's trying out a running back. Could be better for him because he's really great in space, especially like in a pass system. So I will be watching out for him and seeing how he kind of pans out. Maybe that could be a little sneaky little play. Kendrick Miller, the talent is not questioned. It's just the availability for him. So it'd be, I think, for the running back 2 spots between Kendra and Devin Neal primarily, and then you'll have I think the hints of Clyde Edwards-Helaire for like injury purposes. I think he'll be on the roster. I don't think Cam's gonna make the roster fully. I think he'll maybe be a cut as well. They usually run 5. I think they usually have 5 running backs each year though, so they might have Cam or Velus. It'd be down to Cam or Velus, to be honest. That gets cut. Yarns will be on the practice squad, I believe. Going to the defense. Defensive end, of course, you have Cam Jordan, edge, Jonah Williams, and John Bullard. They just added Jonathan Bullard recently, so he's not even practicing currently. I don't know a ton on him, so I really don't really have to opinion on him or Jonah Williams. I've never watched them a ton, but I don't really like the depth on that side of it for that reason. But we do have Granderson and all that, and it'll be a different system. They're going to be playing a different system, so I don't know how it's fully going to look. Obviously, I think you're going to see a lot more usage out of the linebackers for that. As you can see, like how Alex has it laid out, really, because it's like I don't know, they have it like a 4-3, but it's a 3-4. It's trying to be like a 3-4 more so, but base it's me like if they're running 4-3, it's gonna be a 3-4 system based on what Staley ran last when he was the Chargers. But you'll have like Brzee, I'm excited for. Daniel Gotcha will be the big mover on this one because like if he can kind of like if Brzee can take another step, especially in the run game, bro. When he's awful in the run game. I'm not gonna lie. He needs to improve on that. If he can improve on that, that'd be big for us. Colin Saunders was a great depth piece. Ridgeway, interesting. Boyd, I hope he can have like can progress a little bit because he does interest. He was a big name coming. He was a big like steal coming out of the draft essentially. So I'm hoping he can kind of pan out. Chase Young, I'm excited. Hopefully he can kind of like take another step. He was actually really great for us in terms of pressures. Wasn't really connecting on a lot of them, but I did like what I saw last year enough for the contract he got. Chris Rump, I was a fan of him coming out of college. He was with the Chargers. Didn't have like had a good rookie year. Didn't have a great year after that, but also this is the system he used Cecil in, so it should be a great piece. I love Danny Stutzman. I think he's gonna be fantastic, especially if with injuries that we have on the defense side of the ball, and then replacing Demario Davis after probably this year. I don't think DeMario's playing past the season. I'll be surprised if he does. But he'll be a great step in there because you have DeMarco Jackson and Jalen Ford. But Jalen Ford, we haven't seen anything yet, but this will be his first year. I think him to play at full health. DeMarco Jackson hasn't really panned out consistently, so I don't think he will make the roster, to be honest. I think Nephi Sewell will probably make the roster because he's always been a solid player on special teams. Granderson, I love Granderson, so this is a new system for him, so I'll be curious to see how he kind of does with his new role. But I still believe the guy's talent. He dude's ridiculous. He's one of our better pass rushers for sure. Still, and for a great value. Now the worry positions for me are the secondary. So you have Alontae Taylor, who and people gave like a lot of credit to. It was good last year, but he didn't allow a lot of yards. But also when you're in like you're getting lined up everywhere, they're going to target you. It's just happens the case. I mean, you're going against Lattimore and Devo playing out of their minds. I mean, they're going to just pepper you with targets, to be honest. So I don't fully blame him for that 100%. Some of it was good, mostly good coverage. Some of it wasn't great. But again, somebody that he's more of an outside corner. they had him playing inside. I'm wondering if they'll flex him back out or not. Because I mean, they probably won't. Probably just leave him inside because he was decent there. But Ugo Amadi was also great on the inside for us when he was here. So that'll be interesting. I did like Rico Payton. He has a lot of flashes last year. So at least in preseason and practice, training camp. Dynam is also was good for us as well. I'm glad he's back. He was great for us. So not like I'm not saying like this is a serviceable secondary, but definitely if we can find a good little ad. I still don't know why we haven't why the whole what's his name? I'm blanking on it. The corner. Asante Samuel Jr. hasn't been picked up. He would be a really good ad for us at nickel, and we can maybe move Alante back outside. I know it's not ideal since he was moved outside to inside, back to maybe back to outside. But I do think Alante is better on the outside, skill set wise. I think he can play. He's probably going to play either, but I think he's more comfortable on the outside. I mean, he looks more comfortable on the outside at least. As far as safeties go, you know, we got Justin Reed, which I love. I think that's a great ad for us this year. And Howden, one of those guys I'm just like, I liked him for the value. I liked him on the draft. He hasn't like fully hit that consistency yet. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good. I just don't think he's consistent. That's the problem. So I'm hoping he can find that consistency. They did bring Julian Blackman, so it'll be probably between those two fighting for that free safety job. Maybe they even give it to Jonas Sanker. So that's gonna be like a three-way battle. I imagine it will be Julian Blackman. I'm a big fan of his. I thought he was really great. He's 26, so the fact that we got him for what we did and when we did has been great. And I basically the whole roster, but I forgot. I want to go back to Isaiah Foskey. I'm hoping with Isaiah Foskey that this switching into defense will let him be better because he has more of a skill set of like a 3-4, like linebacker. Anyway, as far as size and speed, and like he's like athletic and he's not like doesn't have a ton of bend, which has been like an issue for him. But I think it'll give him more leeway to be out in coverage, which I think he's athletic enough to do, and have given more maybe more space to work with versus being on the line. So he gets more of a running start. So I'm hoping that it'll translate for him a little bit. But this is his last strike, I think, at this point, because this dude's booty juice. Like he's okay on special teams, but he's booty juice on for anything else. So I wanted to shout him out because like I was big on him coming out. I was like, you know what, he's a proven talent. He was proven he did great at Notre Dame and just hasn't connected at all since then. But you know, somebody that we really would love to pan out, especially with edge rusher with Cam Jordan probably on the back end of his career, maybe even his last season. Dude, we need him to pan out. I didn't really cover receivers actually, so let me go back to receivers. I just thought about that. But I don't think much needs to be said about it. Shaheed, great. I'm hoping him off his knee injury isn't going to be a big issue. Obviously, probably some rust, but hopefully with training camp and preseason, they'll get him kind of ready for the season. Brandin Cooks, I think, is a good ad for us as far as again what I said earlier with Kellen Moore. I love how I talked about that, but I didn't talk about the rest of the receivers. With Kellen Moore's system, he's a great way to help like teach these players. You know what I'm saying? Like and help them with install the system, and also he's just a good safety outlet for these two young quarterbacks. I'll probably go into more detail in my larger form video when I'm gonna do a lot of teams on this, but get great ad there. And then you have Bub Memes. I liked actually what I saw from him before the injury, so I'm hoping he can be healthy and build on that. Kevin Austin hasn't really flashed enough for me, or Cedric Wilson was okay here and there. I'm not a big fan of him. Dante Pettis was actually really nice for his last year for some reason. So, sure, love it. Jason Tipton, again, one of those guys that was great in training camp, but didn't do anything outside of that really. Wasn't really impressive when he played. He had minutes in real like playing time. So, not really, I think I can see me a potential cut candidate because I do like the addition of Donovan Peoples-Jones, especially with his ability to block. And I think he could serve as a great X in replacement for, or like he's a great outside threat for when we have like if we have any injuries, which we did last year. So I think he's a good depth piece. I don't know much about Moochie Dixon or anything like that, or Chris Tyree, so I probably do some more research for my long form video. And I'll do some more on these UDFAs because some of these are new names. I mean, Hunter Deckers I'm familiar with. Some of these other ones actually I didn't really even know. That's kind of fraudulent of me to be honest for being a Saints fan. I got to cover. Let me cover special teams. So quickly, I imagine we'll see Dante Pettis more in punt return, and maybe even kick return. But especially because usually when it happens is when they have a guy that's a big piece of the offense, they should just kind of just move them back to mainly being receiver, just to make sure that they have their best weapons. But they probably still use him too. He's an electric player. I still imagine Blake Grupe will win the job. However, Charles Smythe can bang that shit, bro. So I don't know. I might be on the Smythe train here, or because he's a larger leg. Not saying Grupe's solid. He's just not consistent enough to like hitting everything. Like especially like when it comes to like longer like field goals, he's not gonna win you a game. Or I'm not worried about his clutch kicking too. Basically, he's good, like solid. Zach Wentz GOAT. Saints legend. Saints GOAT. Hall of Famer. You can never tell me Zach Witt is not him. Anyway, and then the Burnham guy, I'm not familiar, but they always bring another punter in. I imagine Hayball will win it next in this one. Unless this guy just blows him out the water. But Hayball was okay. He had his hiccups here and there, but he was okay. So, that about covers it. I will do a longer form video. Maybe this weekend. I'll probably get or maybe this weekend. I have a Star Wars Unlimited tournament, so I'm gonna be grinding that this weekend. But maybe Sunday I might be able to get a bunch of these done, and I'll do a bit more depth with like projections and all that. Key losses, as you can see, there's some missing names on the Saints roster, but I'll save that for a later video, and I'll do for more teams. So let me know in the comments what teams you want me to do first. I'm probably gonna do Saints first because it's the one I know the most because I'm a Saints fan. I might even do the Chargers to troll Vegas, and then we'll go from there. But just put in the comment section who you guys think I should record next and talk about. These videos will be basically covering the projected like record, as well as key additions, key losses, and then covering what was it there? I forgot what it was, but it's like the depth chart. But it won't be like as in depth as this one, but it'll just kind of cover like the stuff I need to cover, important stuff, you know. So again, thank you guys for listening, and this has been your boy Smurfy. See you.